What's up, y'all? You know who it is, your boy JP the Install Guy. I hope to make your install life a little bit easier. Today we have another Q&A where I take you guys' comments and I actually reply to them with the video. So not only will it help you, but hopefully it will help somebody else as well. So I will be blocking out the names because I don't want to like put nobody's business out there, nothing like that. But for the person who wrote the comment, I will be replying to your comment with the video so you can go back and see it, and hopefully I help you and I help somebody else. So today's comment is, hey, I got two 12-inch SCAR subs with a 1200 watt amp, and after I played them for a while with the gain up, they start to clip and get distorted. They sound good for a while, but after playing them for a while, not so good. Does this mean I need more powerful amp, or did I damage the subs? I hate to say it, but you probably damaged those subs. The fact that you know that they were distorted and you had the gain turned up to whatever level that you had it on, and you knew that it was clipping, after so long, the sub can only take so much. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that you would need a more powerful amp, because if your signal's not clean, then it doesn't matter how many watts you have. You can take a 500 watt amplifier and clip a sub that can handle 500, 750 watts. It doesn't matter. If the signal is clipping, distorted power going to that sub is going to pop it every single time. So the first thing that I would do is I would actually start from the beginning. When you look at your 212s, if you have a 1200 watt amp, and that's 1200 watts RMS, those subs, I will advise that you have at least 600 watt RMS handling power for each one of those subs. Now, you also need to know how you have it wired. So if you have two dual 4s, they can be wired down to a 1 ohm load. If you have two dual 2s, they can be wired to a 2 ohm load. So you need to make sure that at whatever ohm load that you have it wired down to, that amp is going to provide the right amount of RMS power to those subs. I have videos in the how-to playlist showing you guys how to wire subs, and I've talked about all that stuff before, so I will link those down in the description. Some cards should be popping up here in the corner just to give you guys some secondary resources. Next thing you need to do is test your signal. You need to make sure that the signal coming out of your source, you need to make sure that it's clean. Then you want to actually test the amplifier signal to make sure that it's clean, and you can do both of those with the SMD DD1. Of course, I put out videos on this as well, and they will be linked for you. Also, with that being said, we can have clean signal coming into the amp, but we can actually distort our speakers, and we can have clean signal coming in so the amp is getting what it needs signal wise, but we can be distorting the power on the output. And for the ones that don't know what I'm talking about, this right here is our Power Sport line amplifier from Tesla. It's the TZ600.1, and here are your level adjustments right here. Now, one of these actually says sensitivity. Now, for most amplifiers, it'll say gain, but I'm glad this one actually says sensitivity, because that's what we're doing. The gain knob, the gain adjustment, is not a volume knob. That's why I'm wearing the shirt Tune Like a Pro, all knobs to the right. Is just a joke, because you definitely don't want to do that. Now, yes, when you turn the gain up, the bass does get louder, but you can, when you're listening to it by your ear, sometimes you can hear that sub reaching its mechanical limits, and then that's how we know that it's distorted. So we turn it down to where it sounds good to us. But just because it sounds good to us doesn't mean that you're still not distorting that sub. What you want to do is you want to actually match the RCA voltage coming from your head unit to the amplifier. That's why it says sensitivity. You want to match the sensitivity voltage. So, perfect example, if your radio, aftermarket radio, line output converter, whatever you're using as your source, if it has 4 volts of clean power coming from the source into the amplifier, then what we want to do is we want to turn that gain right to where it receives 4 volts. Once it's received 4 volts of clean power, the amplifier is going to do its thing on the inside to make sure that the output is going to be clean as well. Now, when you look at these sensitivity adjustments, it says min on one side and max on the other side, like minimum and max. Some will actually have numbers on them where they'll have 0 volts on one side and 6 volts on the other. It's kind of hard to tell what number you're actually on, which is why you need something to let you know that when you're not clipping. Now, some amplifiers do have a clip indicator on them. It's probably a good way to start, but you definitely need a testing tool to double check and make sure that your signal is going to be clean. Now, just because you got clean signal coming out of the head unit into the amp and out of the amp to the subs doesn't mean that you still can't blow your system. You still have to protect your system. And what I mean by that is when you first get your subs, all those components like the soft parts are going to be real stiff. So that's why we usually tell people you need to have a break-in period. Now, that break-in period is literally just allowing that sub to move enough to where those spiders and all that stuff actually gets a little bit loose. Now, once it gets loose, you can literally hear the difference inside the vehicle once you know your sub is broken in yet. Not to say that your sub is not going to play nice while it's not broken in, because they're designed to play. But at the same time, something that's stiff versus when that suspension is actually a lot looser, it will sound like a day and night difference once it gets broken in. Might be able to handle a little bit more power as well. Also, if you start to smell something a little bit, then you might want to turn the volume down, because you don't want to burn up that voice coil, and your subs do get hot. When you think about it, your sub is moving all that energy from the magnet and all that type of stuff. It's moving very fast at different rates, because music is always recorded different. You don't want to get to the point to where you're actually smelling those subs and then you keep playing them, because you can damage them. So all in all, to answer your question, did you damage your subs? Possibly, but I don't know. I don't have the subs right here so I can actually test them. It's a good chance that you didn't actually damage the sub. It's just still being distorted and you need to retune the amplifier. But you could pull the subs out, take a digital multimeter, set it to ohms, and test them and make sure that they still read the same thing that they did when you first hooked them up. Also, smell the coils. Serious, like take the sub, smell the inside, like right in here in that section, see if it smells burnt. Look at the voice coil. If the voice coil has shiny spots on it, then those are hot spots on your voice coil. That's not good. If it looks like it's burnt, then yeah, there might be a little bit of damage. So if no smoke has coming out the port, then that's always a good sign. And yeah, just make sure that you're not trying to reach the mechanical limits of the sub itself. Do you need a more powerful amp? I would say no. I would just make sure, well, I'll put it to you like this. If you want it to be louder, then you might need to change your setup. Because that's what I think a lot of people think. As soon as I get subs, it's just going to be the loudest thing possible. A lot of times when we're listening to bass, our ears are going to get used to it. And then when our ears get used to the bass, we start to try to turn it up so it can be louder. But we're just used to the amount of bass that we had. That's why this thing is so addictive, because once you get used to the bass, you want more. So you'll sell your old setup and then get something new. So I would say that if it's not loud enough for you, don't worry about trying to push the limits of what you have right now. It might be a time to upgrade. I didn't expect this video to get that long, but at the end of the day, I hope I actually helped somebody. If you guys found any type of value in the video, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment if you want to. I will have some of the product links for the testing tools that are used in the description. And if you guys want to be a furthermore supporter, the Patreon link is also still there at the bottom. At the time that this video is up, if you don't want to be held down to anything long term, but it still brought you some value, there should be a heart down at the bottom that says thanks. I'm not asking anybody to do anything that they don't want to do, but anything that you do is greatly appreciated. Also, for the ones who have been asking, the introduction to car audio course is being made right now. I'm very excited about it, so I can actually give you guys more information about car audio, and you know, just so I can pour more into you guys who are the do-it-yourselfers, or you've been out of the car audio game for a while, you're trying to get back into it. This course is going to help you. So other than that, this is your boy JP signing out. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Peace.